Welcome to the Primitive Camping and Bushcraft podcast. I'm your host, Chris Speir. So here we're going to talk about gear, grit, and the kind of stories you only get around a fire. It's all about learning, adapting, and keeping your faith strong. So whether you're a seasoned outdoorsman or just looking to unplug and reconnect, you're in the right place. So pull up a chair by the fire and let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome to today's episode where we're having a real conversation. This conversation is on the side of the bank of a river on a camping trip that we took a couple of weeks ago. And this is going to be just 100% pure conversation the morning after a kayaking trip down the river. So I invite you to listen along and just enjoy the fireside conversation.
So last night was probably the loudest I've ever heard owls in my camp.
That was crazy.
Like, it's almost like we had two pairs and a third, or two pairs of owls. One here on this side, one here on this side, and then another one on the other side of the river. And it was loud. Like, I actually recorded some of it on my phone. I'll probably have to put some of that into this video.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, now for the whole story on that, we could hear them for, probably a couple of hours
Right.
in the distance before. So we both went to our hammocks about midnight, and we weren't in there just a little while, and they came here.
For the next 3 hours.
Yeah. I was actually thinking for a minute, how am I going to sleep with these owls making all this noise?
For the next 3 hours, you know, it was nothing but owls all night long. And I could hear them hitting the branches behind where my tarp is whenever they flew in. And I'm like, man, that is crazy.
Yeah. So do you think we called them in, or was it a coincidence? Because we were hooting at them.
I think
we don't sound much like an owl.
No, but we were in their territory.
Coincidentally, they showed up.
Yeah. So if you go hoot, 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 or it don't matter how it sounds, they're going to come check it out. And last night was living proof. Now, turkey hunters always use the owl call right at dark, just at dark. And they'll do the hoot, hoot, you know, and the turkey will gobble and let you know where he's at.
Oh.
And so that's how they track down turkeys and stuff. But yesterday was cool. I mean, last night was cool with them owls like that.
One screeched. I told you off camera. I'll tell the story on camera. Probably 3 a.m. I was woke up by one. It sounded 50 yards away at the most, and it screeched like a woman. which woke me up. And I didn't think it was a woman, but you know that makes your hair stand up
right
on your arm when it happened. But I mean, as soon as she screeched, the hoot owl answered her just right behind her.
That's crazy. It almost made me think that they have a nest close by.
Could be.
And it's very possible. I mean, because we got a tree over here with the top knocked out of it, and that's what they kind of make their nest in. Owls do not make their own nests. They either take over another nest another bird made, or they'll find a waller in a log and make a nest out of it. Owls will attack eagles at nighttime to take over their nest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bullies.
And different cultures throughout the world believe owls are like the harbingers or death or whatever. Yeah. They believe that they associate owls with death. And even through the United States, there was different Native American tribes that some believe the owl was like a special species. And then the further west you got, the more they believed that the owls were of death. And I was like, wow, it's crazy how all over the world, different things make different beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, they have that similarity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, and I don't know anything about this, but it figures that universally darkness is associated with death and evil, and the owls come in the dark. So
At night.
I think that's probably why they drew that conclusion.
I don't know. Out here, I'm specifically going to reconsider that because we heard them all day in the afternoon, and then this morning they were cracking up in the daylight. So they are very much active during the daytime. Everybody thinks that they only operate at night, but they're very much active in the daytime. It's just that they have to hide because all the other birds will attack them. And so they hide very well during the daytime or fly from place to place. So what did you think about the T-bones last night, man?
Oh, golly, that was amazing.
How'd you like that marinade?
That was good.
That was the only thing on it. I didn't put no
I
seasoning
noticed
on
there was
it
no
at all.
salt, pepper, nothing. It was just the marinade and wood smoke. And
yeah. I used a brand called Moore's Spicy Marinade. And Moore's, I've used it on my beef jerky whenever I was doing my book. I would tell people use Dale's or Moore's, and Moore's is less salty than Dale's seasoning. Now, I know y'all probably don't have it everywhere, but I'm just what we have here locally. And my wife and I went to a salvage store, and we got a couple bottles of that of that Moore's Spicy Marinade. And she's like, hey, let's try this. I said, okay. Well, we went home, we tried it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is good. This is real good. And it works on chicken, it works on pork, it works on, any kind of meat. And that next weekend, we went back to that big box bargain store, that salvage store, and we bought all the rest that they had. And I must have 100 bottles sitting on the shelf at the house, because typically, if it's in that salvage store, it's no longer on the shelves of the regular store.
Yep.
And if you see it there, it ain't gonna be long, because you're never gonna find it again.
Yeah.
Next time, I learned a valuable lesson last night. Don't let your eyeballs control what you do. With the potatoes, I wish I'd have done small potatoes, like 2 or 3 small potatoes instead of one large big one. Because we could have ate several hours before while we was waiting on the potatoes. But the pot held up somewhat. Let's see how the pot's faring this morning. We're fixing to use it to cook some breakfast, ain't we?
I think so.
So what I was scared of was that this aluminum pot was going to like warp or melt. And I don't think it warped or melted. I think it's just dirty and it's clean now. No, it's good. So it's that hard anodized aluminum, so it shouldn't really melt under the high temperatures like that. But well, y'all saw the video. We buried this into the flames, and this little Dutch oven is pretty cool. Now what we're going to do is put this over the flames and cook on it. So hopefully that will work. And then we're going to pack up, and then we're going to get on the river and just mosey down. Not really in a big hurry.
Yeah.
I think Dave's got somewhere to be around 3 o'clock, and it's 9. It's 10 o'clock right now.
Yeah. I mean, we made it here in what, 3 hours at the most yesterday.
Yeah.
Halfway, and that was after spending 30 minutes, exploring that creek. So.
Yeah. I kept saying Marco, and I didn't hear no Polo, and I was like, oh, I better go back.
Oh, coffee.
We're going to start a new segment on our videos called Coffee Time.
Yeah.
Where we sit around drinking our coffee and talk about the trip so far.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Coffee time. Facebook has a Reels song. It's like coffee, coffee, coffee time.
I heard that one.
I'll have to use that one. Man, I'm telling you, that is really some good coffee, dude.
It is. I think the percolator, which you're basically just boiling it through for, I like to percolate for 4 minutes, is it smooths it out a little more than the coffee maker. And I use a drip maker at home just because I'm lazy, and I want the coffee quicker. But
I bought an old school percolator at a antique shop, and I was gonna bring it on this trip, and I was like, nah, I'll leave it for the Camp Wut-Da-Heck, Hey, what's your thoughts on Camp Wut-Da-Heck, man? What do you think about the place?
First time I saw it, I saw, what the heck?
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. It's like, what the heck?
It's a neat little place for you. A little cove where you can have a spot to make your videos and do some instructional stuff. I know the top secret location. Many people don't.
So if anything goes missing, he's the first one to blame. What a beautiful day, man. What a beautiful day.
It didn't get, you get cold last night?
Not at all.
Not me
Actually,
neither.
I got real hot and I had to take my blanket off. I slept without my cover most of the night.
Yeah. Me
At
too.
one point, I actually thought about just getting out and laying down on the ground. All right, so the Hennessy hammock is pretty cool. It's neat how the ridge line is already put in there for the bug net. How it has the included pad in it for when you're sleeping to keep you warm on the backside while you're laying in the hammock. But I have not and cannot find a way to make it more flat. It is extremely bent, and I had a hard time last night sleeping. And this is the second time that I've slept in this hammock, and I'm finding it very difficult to sleep in, to be honest with you. And I mean, I'm just gonna give honesty where honesty is,
Yeah.
What about you? What's your thoughts?
I don't think it's a bad product at all. I think it's very good, very well made, very well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ridge line. Kind of takes the guesswork out of getting the angles right, if it's right. But I'm with you. I have a cheaper hammock that's, I guess it's a bit wider and it feels a little bit flatter to lay in. But there again, it's not the same quality. Didn't come with a tarp,
your guy lines
Yeah.
and everything on this one. You know, this one, they spared no expense making this one, and it's great.
The system is good, and I'm sure it's perfect for some people.
Yes.
And some people are going to love it, and it's going to be their most favorite hammock they got, and it's the one they're going to bring every time.
Right.
You know, not, you know, and I'm not saying I wouldn't sleep in it again. It's probably not going to be my go-to every trip by far.
Right. So we reviewed another product last year, the NightCat lay flat hammock, and it is 1/3 of the price of this one. And I'm actually leaning more towards using that one as my official hammock.
Well, see, there's where the personality comes in and preferences. I like the NightCat on the ground because it also makes a ground tent, a convenient little ground tent. But trying to sleep in it hung as a hammock, I hated it.
Did you?
You just it stretched overnight and dipped and I was miserable.
So it's when it comes to camping, it's all about personal preference.
Yeah.
It's not about the latest and flashy gear or the price of your gear. You know, you could actually use a $15 hammock without a bug net and buy an extra bug net to go over it and have no problem. These ones with the bug nets built into them. This is it's called the Jungle Explorer or something like that. It's what's this one called? The
Explorer XL.
Yeah, Explorer XL. And I love the bug net. I love the design of this hammock. I love the design. Like if there was a way to adjust the ridge line in this hammock to make it to where it would lay flatter. And then you have Dave that don't like the flat. He likes it, you know. But ultimately, early this morning, I was balled up in the fetal position, just trying to get some sleep.
Yeah, that's how I slept too. And you know, really, I don't hate it. That's one thing nice about a hammock is there's no pressure points.
Yeah.
So you don't wake up with your hip hurting and say, other than maybe if you're bent in a weird angle.
Yeah.
But you know, I wake up even at home when I sleep. I flip all over and I'm all in weird positions, and I'll wake up with my arms asleep because my head's pinching off the nerves or something.
Right.
You know, that doesn't happen in a hammock. I'm flipping and flopping for other reasons, but not because parts of my body are going to sleep.
All in all, I mean, even through all the book that I wrote, you know, I love a hammock, and I made that clear. I love hammock camping. One, you're up off the ground, and so it's cooler in hotter weather. And two, the bugs are not going to get on you as much as if you laid on the ground. If I'd laid on the ground last night, I'd had spiders crawling all over.
Yeah, there's bugs way up in this duff on the ground.
In here. And so I'm glad I wasn't on the ground. And then, because there ain't nothing worse than waking up to a big old wolf spider the size of a 2-inch diameter and on your face. And I've had that happen to me before. Even in the middle of winter, I've had the wolf spider get on me when I was sleeping on the ground. Yeah.
Well, you were a warm spot.
Yeah, I know. You're a warm spot, and they're coming to get it. But I love hammock camping. And I will continue till I find the absolute perfect hammock.
Yeah. The shame is with the price of some of this gear. I mean, these Hennessy hammocks they're not cheap by my book. I mean, by some people's, what they spend on outdoor stuff is
right.
It would be very reasonable, but you know, that's kind of high dollar. So if you get something and then it's not really for me. Like if I spent the money and bought that, I'd be kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, then what do you do? I mean, what you can try to resell it on the aftermarket on eBay or something and recoup some of your money and try something else, you know, but then you're just buying and buying and buying until you find that right one.
Yeah. So I really like the idea of what you said about the gear. Some people will spend exuberant amounts of money to buy a piece of gear. And then they will take that gear and they're like, man, I really don't like this, but I guess that's what the pros use, so that's what I got to use. And then they will suck it up, and then, you know, if finally they just get used to it, not knowing that, hey, there's a better piece of gear out there that you could have bought for half the price, you know. And that's like solar lanterns. You have solar lanterns that are $100 a piece, and then you got solar lanterns that you can find at a thrift shop or Walmart or something for $15 a piece. But ultimately, they do the same job.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be a cloudy day today. Partly cloudy. That's just like propane stoves. You got a dime a dozen on them things, son. I mean, a dime a dozen.
The one I have, I think it was $15 at Walmart. If that much.
I like how you got the little adapter for yours, so you can use either
it came
the
in
small.
the pack.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Those aren't true. It does what I need to do. It's probably not the highest quality one.
That's the key to everything. What you just said. It does what I need it to do.
Yeah.
And people, some people just don't get it. It's like, it does what I need it to do. That is the key to everything right there. That sums everything up when it comes to camping and outdoors. It does what I need it to do. So, I guess we get us a nice little bed of coals and then cook us a nice little breakfast.
Yep. A little coffee left. You need another shot?
No, I'm good right now.
All right.
So I just redesigned the entire Speir Outdoors website. I redesigned the entire store. I redesigned everything. So now when you log on to Speir Outdoors, click the merch section. They got the coffee cups. Before, the coffee cups were, you had to hold them left-handed to see the logo.
Yeah.
Now I fixed that. Now you hold them with your right hand. So all you left-handed folks, I'm sorry. Maybe I should do another one and do one for left-handed.
You don't have a left-handed option?
No, they did not. Well, they do, but you can only do one at one. And I tried to get it where I put the logo on both sides, but they won't let you have that option. And then I updated the actual logo itself. And it's pretty good, pretty cool, you know. In all your ways, acknowledge him. That's the new slogan for the entire Speir Outdoors brand. So, right out of Proverbs 3:6. So that seems to be the direction that everything is going in. So I feel like, boy, this is going to turn into another podcast sitting right here, Fireside.
I know it, huh?
Fireside podcast conversations. But what has really moved this forward is the fact that it was time to really, really put who I was into the videos and not just really doing videos just to do videos. Like going on camping trips with friends, having the conversations, talking, doing things, you know. I'm still going to do the tips, tricks, techniques, you know, and stuff like that, but it's going to be more meaningful, not more random.
Yeah.
You know, as before, I was just filming stuff just to have a video. Now it's going to be on purpose. Now there's going to be a whole, in this podcast, blah, 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 everything's going to be interconnected. So it's going to be the podcast. And then from the podcast, it's going to be all the tips and tricks and techniques. And then how to do this, where to go, how to do that. And so everything is going to be coming right back around full circle. So it's been a lot of work. I've spent the last, I am not a website engineer. HTML is a dirty word to me. I don't know Cascade style sheets and HTML and all this stuff that you got to know in order to do websites, but I've figured it out. I've spent the last couple of weeks just hashing out how do I fix this and what I do, because you could pay somebody to do something, and in the end, it's still not going to be the way you exactly want it. And then it'll be like, no, we couldn't do it that way because, and I'm like, well, that's not what I wanted. You know, what I wanted was, and that was what my problem was with the website in the beginning, but I just went with it, and it was expensive, you know, a couple $1,000 getting some dude to do a website. So now, if anybody needs a website, let me know. I'm proficient in it. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, when I set up our church website several years ago, thankfully I had a friend who knew how to do it, and he did it for a few $100. But from there, I didn't know what to do with it afterwards. You know, so it never got updated. It never got changed. You know, because it's not like on Facebook. You know, just post something. You know, you just there's more to it, and I could have figured it out too, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put the time into figuring it out. So.
Well, dude, I was spending 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day sitting there just hashing through, trying to read up on how does you do this? What do you do that? You know. So it's been a very.
That's good that you got another skill. I mean, even if you don't use it for anything other than your websites, I think anytime we learn something, it's good. It's good for us.
But when you relate that back to camping or survival, if you don't keep practicing that skill, you eventually forget it. You're like, man, I remember I used to could do this. How did I do that? And then you keep going back through it. It's the same thing with, like you mentioned last night in the podcast. Look, if y'all haven't seen that podcast, you're missing out. It's gonna be an awesome podcast. But like you mentioned last night, that you know, people always assume that they can rub two sticks together to start a fire.
Yeah.
If you ain't practiced, you ain't doing it. You ain't gonna do it. There's a lot more involved in it. And it took me years to figure it out until of course you could pay and go to one of these bushcraft or survival schools. But if you understand the three elements that you have to have a shelter, you have to have heat or warmth, fire, and you have to have water. Those three things. You got those three things, you can survive any situation anywhere. Because you can go a long time without food.
Yeah.
But these people, you know, you could go to these classes, you can learn how to do these things. And it's, you can pay the money, or you could just go on YouTube and you can figure it out on YouTube. I'm telling you what, YouTube University is an awesome resource to get your education. There's a lot of people on there that do it right. There's a lot of people on there that do it different. There's a lot of people on there that do it completely wrong. But so you have to pay attention to what you're watching.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into religion.
Yeah.
When you get into religion and Christianity, son, there's a lot of people in there that do it right. There's a lot of people that do it wrong. And there's a lot of people that do it just off the wall like, hey, something's up with this, you know?
Yep.
You got to be very careful. And that's with everything in life. Everything in life. Well, guys, thank you for joining the Fireside conversation this morning. And so I guess we're going to get ready to start cooking and have us a good old breakfast.
Yeah, I'm ready for a pancake.
A pancake?
Yep.
A camping pancake. Did you bring
pancakes and sausage.
Did you bring syrup?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you the man.
Thanks for sitting around the fire with me today. If this episode gave you something to think about, if it helped you feel a little bit more prepared, or it even stirred your faith a tiny bit, go ahead and share it with someone else who might need it as well. We don't go camping to run away from life. We come out here to slow down and to recharge. So grab another log, throw it on the fire, and remember this. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. I'll see you next time. God bless you.